Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight, the 17th of January 2014. Standing by in the wings, Justin Bridges is ready to bring us some music. How are you, Justin?
Doing good, doing good.
Justin is also the guest tonight, along with Larry Kirk, or LK. They'll both be talking about their upcoming Cannabis Common Sense tour, where they're going to tour all around the United States, raising money for medical marijuana prisoners of war and regular marijuana prisoners of war as well. We'll be taking your phone calls shortly, and we, of course, have a rather lengthy hemp news segment for you tonight. So stay tuned as we bring on our infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
Feel the force.
All right. Our first story tonight is a national story out of Washington, D.C. 55% of Americans now favor making cannabis legal for adults, according to the findings of a CNN and ORC International survey released just this last week. That percentage is the highest ever reported by the survey, which has been tracking public opinion on the issue since 1973, and marks a 12-point jump in support since the last time pollsters posed this question in 2012. Out in Florida, supporters of a medical marijuana initiative in Florida on Wednesday announced they've collected enough signatures to qualify for the 2014 ballot. Campaign manager Ben Pallara of United for Care, which is sponsoring a constitutional amendment to legalize medicinal cannabis in Florida, sent out an email to supporters that the group had collected more than 1.1 million signatures, according to a report from NBC Miami. The organizers face a deadline of February 1st to turn in 683,189 valid Florida voter signatures in order to qualify for the election. Election supervisors have already certified nearly 458,000 of those signatures. Literally thousands of volunteers contributed their time collecting petitions in the rain and heat on the weekends, according to campaign manager Pallara. The Florida Supreme Court must approve the language that will go on the ballot even if there are enough signatures. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is challenging the wording, claiming voters will be misled into approving widespread use of marijuana. The court has until April to make its ruling on whether the ballot summary is misleading. Citizens' initiatives in Florida are limited to 75-word summaries. The medical marijuana initiative ballot summary has 74 words. Just last week, Florida attorney donated $2.8 million to the Florida campaign. If the Florida Supreme Court approves the wording, the measure would need 60% of the vote rather than a simple majority. Florida law requires that constitutional amendments get 60%. Pollard called on the supporters to shift into campaign mode and asked people to donate or educate millions of Florida voters who will hopefully be allowed to have a choice in November. Out of Washington, D.C., the Drug Enforcement Administration's chief of operations on Wednesday gave some freaked-out emotional testimony at a Senate hearing, admitting that marijuana legalization scares the DEA. According to James L. Capra, chief of operations of the Drug Enforcement Administration, he said, quote, "I have to say this, going down the path to legalization in this country is reckless and irresponsible. I'm talking about the long-term impacts of legalization in the United States. It scares us. In every part of the world where this has been tried, it has failed time and time again," end quote. Capra lied. Cannabis legalization hasn't been tried anywhere since the Single Convention Treaty on Narcotics Drugs passed in 1961. But, that's what the DEA does. The U.S. federal government's classification of marijuana as a Schedule I drug with no medicinal value took another hit on Thursday as United States Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid of Nevada, a Democrat, said cities in his state should move toward making medicinal cannabis available. Reid said, quote, "If you'd asked me this question a dozen years ago, it would have been an easy one to answer. I would have said no because I thought marijuana leads to other stuff," Reid told the Las Vegas Sun. But he went on and said, "I can't say that anymore. I think we need to take a real close look at this, and I think there's some medical reasons for marijuana," end quote, according to U.S. Majority Senate Leader Harry Reid. Washington State's anemic marijuana law is looking weaker by the minute. Now it appears much of the state won't even have local cannabis access. Attorney General Bob Ferguson has announced cities and counties can block licensed legal marijuana businesses from operating. Just how much of Washington State will have marijuana stores remains an open question after Washington Attorney General Ferguson issued the long-awaited opinion on Thursday. Ferguson said Initiative 502, the limited legalization measure approved by state voters in 2012, allows local governments to ban retail marijuana shops, grow operations, and processing facilities from their jurisdiction. The opinion was requested by the Washington State Liquor Control Board, which was put in charge of implementing marijuana legalization by Washington's I-502. The Liquor Control Board is concerned that local bans could severely restrict access to legal marijuana, making it difficult to move people from the black market. Out of New Hampshire, for the first time in history, a legislative chamber in the United States has passed legislation to end marijuana prohibition and establish a legal market for businesses to sell marijuana to adults 21 and older. The New Hampshire House of Representatives approved a bill 170 to 162. They have a big House of Representatives just a couple of days ago that would regulate marijuana like alcohol. It's the first time in history that a legislative chamber in the United States has posed legislation to end marijuana prohibition. The measure will be referred to the House Ways and Means Committee to review the revenue aspect of the bill, but regardless of how the committee votes, the bill will return to New Hampshire's House of Representatives for a second vote in February or March. If approved then, it'll be considered by the New Hampshire Senate. However, it seems unlikely to pass the New Hampshire Senate, and the New Hampshire governor has vowed that she will veto the bill. In Massachusetts, just across the border from New Hampshire, marijuana advocates are laying the groundwork for legalization in Massachusetts in 2016, the next presidential election year. Massachusetts voters approved decriminalization of small amounts of cannabis in 2008 and legalized its use for medicinal purposes in 2012, both with more than 63% support at the polls. Advocates have launched an effort to get legalization on the 2016 ballot and raise enough money to ensure victory. Down in Texas, GOP Senator Ted Cruz of Texas on Friday said he wants President Obama to lock up people in Colorado who are violating federal laws by using cannabis. Senator Cruz said, quote, "A whole lot of folks now are talking about legalizing pot," end quote, Senator Cruz said during his keynote speech at the policy orientation session of the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Obama's Justice Department in August announced that it would not target adults for arrest when they use marijuana in compliance with state law. Texas Senator Cruz said the Obama administration should continue arresting people for cannabis until federal law is changed. Cruz, of course, is a darling of the far-right Republican Party. In Colorado, the cannabis banking situation there, where legal marijuana sales began on January 1st, remains sketchy and confusing. Federal rules bar bank accounts for illegal drug enterprises, and all cannabis sales are still in violation of federal law. According to Tim Cullen, co-owner of the Evergreen Apothecary in Denver, he said, quote, "We don't like it and the bookkeepers hate us, but that's the way it is." Colorado state officials and cannabis advocates are lobbying for federal government to allow access to banking for marijuana businesses. The lack of legitimate banking is the biggest flaw in an otherwise healthy kickoff of recreational marijuana sales in Colorado. Just more than 30 cannabis stores are doing $1 million worth of business every day, most of it in cash. Many of the stores are winding up with large piles of cash at the end of the day and nowhere safe to store it. Mike Elliott, executive director of the Medical Marijuana Industry Group based in Denver, said, quote, "A lot of business owners are operating on a cash-only basis, and you can imagine the security issues with that. For every business with an account, I've heard 20 stories from people who've said, we had a bank account, but they kicked us out. We're talking about a checking account here, so you don't have to show up at the Colorado Department of Revenue and pay your taxes in cash," end quote. The way it is, store owners and dispensaries are showing up with paper bags full of money to pay their tax bills in Colorado. Access to banking services has been a problem for the marijuana industry for a while now. Before legalization in Colorado, the problem had already arisen with medical marijuana businesses. Colorado government and business officials are urging the federal government to give leeway to banks in states with legal marijuana, but that would require the cooperation of both the Justice and Treasury departments. According to Childers, banks have been told they should not be handling these accounts, so they're more than nervous. You really need a federal statute, but politically I don't think the members of Congress in either party want to be perceived as being soft on drugs. I don't know how you regulate or tax an industry where you can't follow the money, Childers said, end quote. Visa and MasterCard have decided to ignore their own rules prohibiting the use of their debit and credit cards for marijuana purchases, according to Rob Seidel at the Wall Street Journal. American Express seems to be taking a harder line. That card network recently blocked transactions from a provider that had advertised its ability to set up cannabis merchants so they could accept all major credit and debit cards. According to Amex spokesman, they said, quote, "We monitor websites to make sure the policy is being enforced," end quote. Last week, the Denver City Council passed a resolution urging federal authorities to help resolve the banking issue. Meanwhile, a Democratic congressman from Colorado, Representative Ed Perlmutter, has introduced the Marijuana Business Access to Banking Act of 2013. Good luck with that. In Guangdong, China, the administration of the non-psychotropic cannabidiol, or CBD, protects the liver from damage caused by alcohol consumption, according to preclinical data published online in the journal Free Radical Biology and Medicine. Investigators from China and the United States assessed whether cannabidiol administration can protect against alcohol-induced steatosis, or excessive fat buildup in the liver. They reported, quote, "Cannabidiol protects mouse liver from acute alcohol-induced steatosis through multiple mechanisms, including attenuation of alcohol-mediated oxidative stress and increasing autophagy, or the degradation of dysfunctional cells." Separate investigation of CBD, primarily in animal models, have documented the cannabinoid to possess a variety of therapeutic qualities, including anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, anti-epileptic, anti-cancer, antipsychotic, and bone-stimulating properties. Human trials assessing the administration of CBD in healthy subjects report the compound to be safe and well tolerated. This study, cannabidiol protects the liver from binge alcohol-induced steatosis by mechanisms including inhibition of oxidative stress and increase in autophagy, is available from the journal Free Radical Biology and Medicine online. That's the end of our hemp news segment tonight. How are you doing, Justin?
Really good, doing really good. Been staying busy.
Well, I can understand that. Well, welcome back to the show. I know you've got an opening and closing song for us, and you're going to be our guest talking about your upcoming tour tonight as well.
Thank you very much for having me on air again.
Hey, we're glad to have you.
Well, let me go ahead and get things kicked off.
Go right ahead, sir.
You can check us out at CannabisCommonSenseTour.com. We're also on Facebook on Cannabis Common Sense Tour. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. smoke the kind of weed that you see in your dreams. Straight out of High Times, man, you should see this green. CBDs, LNNs, and that THC. And you best not forget about that THCV. Yes, so these are the things that your body may need to help get rid of your pain or maybe cure your disease. So sit back with a sack of the finest trees, rolling up and give your body what you know it needs. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. See, I hit that green carpet with all the pot stars at the High Times Cannabis Cup. Man, do you know where you are? Smoking with my friend LK in that VIP. And it's time for old dabs. I guess I'll take 2 or 3. Yes, and then we'll smoke that J and pass along those medibles. Have you seen this place, man? These things are so incredible. Just think about it. Weed as far as the eye can see. So come on and legalize and give the people what they need. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis.
All right. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Justin will be moving over to our set here. I'd like to welcome Larry, LK. Welcome to the show. Hey, Casper. Welcome to the show as well. Welcome back. How are you folks this evening?
Oh, life is good for LK, I'm telling you, you know.
All right.
Got Justin here playing, you know. I mean,
that's cool.
Just
great song. How about you, Casper?
Excellent. Every week when you're out there fighting on the front lines and you're getting something done is a good week.
Yep, I agree with that. And we'd like to invite our viewers tonight, if you have a question or comment about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or helping medical marijuana patients, you can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And I guess we already have a couple callers standing by, so we'll jump right into the phone calls. Welcome to our show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing good. This is TJ the DJ from the Time for Hemp family.
Hey, TJ the DJ. It's Casper. How you doing?
I am doing great. My insomnia is kicking in really bad because I have a lot of stress on me because on Monday we are going to be telling Virginia legislators that they need to introduce a medical cannabis bill to counter a bill trying to criminalize all medical cannabis because Virginia already has access for cancer and glaucoma patients, but it's in the form of prescription and through pharmacies, so it really doesn't work. We're trying to get them to change it, so I was urged to call in and talk about our lobbying efforts.
Well, I'm glad you did. So you're in the great state of Virginia. What's the capital
great
there? Is
Commonwealth.
it Richmond?
Richmond is the capital.
And so, how's it looking for the introduction of your bill?
Well, basically, we were going to take a very conservative approach to this legislative session and just make friends and identify someone who would be willing to introduce something in 2015. And then about 2 weeks ago, we got word of House Bill 684 in Virginia, introduced by the great Bob Marshall, who was that ultrasound bill champion a couple years ago that made Virginia the laughing stock of the country.
Oh, yeah,
And,
the one that required ultrasounds of women seeking birth control abortions.
Well, yeah, but a little bit more graphic than that.
Yeah, we won't go into those graphics. I know Rachel Maddow does that well. About, what is it, the insertion or something of the,
well,
the
if you really want me to
ultrasound.
get technical about it, it's the transvaginal ultrasound for abortion.
There you have it.
Michael Krauss just, made me say that I'll try not to use those words. But anyway,
Oh,
so
well.
Bob Marshall was the champion of that bill. Well, now he's championing a bill to get rid of the medical marijuana bill that's on the books from 1979 in Virginia for cancer and glaucoma patients. So we saw this as a great
Bastard.
opportunity to tell our legislators to listen to the 71 to 72% of Virginians that were polled by Christopher Newport University and Mary Washington University, and just legalize medical marijuana. Just give us full, safe access for medical marijuana. So that's what we're trying to do on Monday.
Well, good luck. Do you have a website or something we can refer our viewers to?
Well, we organize under Americans for Safe Access, which is safeaccessnow.org, and also the Safe Access Virginia page is facebook.com/safeaccessva, as in the abbreviation for Virginia.
Very good. All right, well, best of luck to you there, DJ.
And I want to remind
All
people
right.
that you can check out
Thanks a lot.
TJ the DJ every Monday through Friday on the Time for Hemp Broadcasting Network from 1 to 3 p.m. And in the middle of the broadcast at 2 p.m., Ben Swan does his commentary and shares some news reports each day. And we also broadcast TJ the DJ in the evening as well. We love his work. He is a hardworking member at the Time for Hemp family and brings a tremendous amount to the table. We love you, DJ. Make sure everybody makes it a point
Thanks
to
a
tune
lot.
in and
Love
take
you too.
Time for
Spark
Hemp.
one up, burn one down.
All right, thank you, sir. And I think we have one more call. Let's go ahead and take, the calls are rolling in. We'll take another call. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hi. My name's Bunny. I had called you at the end of October when I first got my medical marijuana card,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to share my experience with people out there. I'm using it for irritable bowel syndrome and diverticulitis.
Uh-huh.
And I found a lot of good information about the nutritive value and the disease-fighting value of raw cannabis, like for juicing or putting it on top of your salad, or just eating 2 to 3 raw buds several times a day, because raw cannabis is not psychoactive.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
right.
And it removes damaged cells from the body,
Mm-hmm.
and it releases the cannabinoids in the brain, which produces antioxidants. So anybody out there that has these stomach problems of constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain, gas, bloating, do this. Eat raw cannabis.
If you can find it, that's really a good thing to do. You got to have quite a bit to be able to juice it. But I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I know. I'm trying to find a grower right now where I can get, access to, the raw plants.
Uh-huh. It's very difficult. It's very difficult because when you juice
I
it, obviously you can't keep growing that anymore, and it's done with. And so either you're going to harvest it indoors, which is very expensive, or get it outdoors, and you can only do that between June and October.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
at least here in this area.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just wanted to share that information, with you.
I'm glad you did. It's difficult in our current legal environment for many people to access the raw juiced cannabis, but when we can legalize it and people can grow their own, we'll see a lot more of that. I can't wait to go into the local juice stores and order some cannabis juice along with my wheatgrass.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? Well, I
It
love
won't
your
be
show.
long, I think.
I watch it all the time, and thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks for calling. Appreciate that.
Okay, bye.
If you have a question for us tonight, give us a call at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442.
Well, I have seen the soda pops.
Yeah, the soda, but that's not raw juiced cannabis. Those soda pops, these are the psychoactive soda pops.
Yes, they're really good.
They're available in Colorado.
Yeah, the green lady, I like her soda. So,
Dixie Elixirs is
Yes.
another company that's making theirs. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So you two are gearing up for the Cannabis Common Sense Tour. Well, I love that name. I know first you were going to use another name,
Right.
and it didn't. Somebody jumped on your website just as you were ready to do it, and you said, "Can we use this name?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you very
No
much.
problem.
We really
I'm glad
appreciate it.
It's a
And the tour has grown to 25 weeks, I see now.
25
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah,
So you'll be on the road for 6 months.
We'll be. It's actually. We'll be on the road for about 4 months, but we have a minimum of 25 shows lined up. Right
I
now,
see.
So.
Wow. So name
so-
some of the big cities. You'll be
Some
in.
of the big cities we'll be stopping in. Of course, we're gonna hit the High Times Cannabis Cup down in Los Angeles at the beginning, but San Diego will be kicking things off.
So you'll be in LA when?
We'll
February
be in LA
7th and 8th.
February 7th through the 9th.
Okay.
So,
And then in
and
San
then
Diego,
San Diego on
a
February
couple hours
14th.
south.
Yep. And then we have Tucson, Arizona, and then we'll be going through up into Texas. We have a bunch of shows through Texas: Lubbock, Waco, San Marcos, San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth. A bunch of shows.
Dallas.
Then we're going to through to Little Rock, Arkansas,
Uh-huh.
and then up into Oklahoma, and then
Be careful in Oklahoma.
I know
The laws in Oklahoma are not nice.
they're trying a kid for. I think they're trying him for life right now for the resin in his pipe.
Yeah, it's just crazy in Oklahoma.
Saying
That's
it's
one
condensed.
state, like Malaysia and Singapore, I won't visit. Oklahoma, Malaysia, or Singapore till the laws change because I don't want to spend the rest of my
We're
life
going to go there,
to be
hopefully
executed.
change people's attitudes to get some of the laws changed.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Be
Well,
very careful.
There's a lot of money that can be made in Oklahoma from hemp. You know, and they used to make it in World War II, so
Yeah.
we're just going to bring them back to reality and back to before the prohibition and the money that Oklahoma made from hemp. You know, there was a lot of oil that was produced in Oklahoma, rope that was produced there for the war effort. So you know, Oklahoma grew a lot of hemp. So
Exactly.
All right.
and the
Yeah.
soil needs it in Oklahoma.
And after
especially.
Oklahoma, where are you going?
After Oklahoma, then we go to Colorado. We'll
Uh-huh.
be going through Colorado Springs, Denver, Grand Junction. In Colorado Springs, we'll be playing at Club 710.
Uh-huh.
And then,
I know that's one of your favorite numbers.
yeah, definitely like that number.
For those of you out there who don't realize it, 710, when you turn it upside down, spells oil.
Yes, sir.
And so that's a new cool number along with
Can you imagine
420.
the Mad Dabber. Like
When I was a young man, we liked 333 was the time we always found ourselves gathering together to
Nice.
share the sacred herb. But I guess the 420 thing overtook that.
Yeah.
And now everybody's looking at 11:30.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, we're looking at 11 states in 4 months.
Uh-huh.
Hey, we're going to go to Vegas. We're coming through Vegas, guys.
All right.
So, yeah.
Definitely looking forward to hitting up. We got a bunch of normals teaming up with us across the country.
Uh-huh.
DFW normal. Who else do we have? Houston normal. We have normal in Waco. Hub City normal, which is in Lubbock. Like I said, San Diego normal and Arizona for normal also will be on board as well. So we have and also Little Rock, Arkansas normal, and we're teaming up with normal in Oklahoma as well.
All right.
And can I add, Paul, the reason we're doing this is because we got a lot of prisoners in jail because of this failed war on drugs, and we need to put some money on their books. We need to let these people know that we love them. You know, I mean, they're our fallen soldiers, so we need to take care of them. And this tour is going to give 25% of all the money that it makes along the way to prisoners' books that are in prison for the failed war on drugs. And it's just something that needs to happen. It's a way that we can produce funds for the normal chapters that's out there fighting this war on drugs. And then the other 50% is going to take us from city to city to make sure that we can keep making people aware of the lies that have been spread and the benefits from the production of hemp from food, fuel, and fiber. I mean, it's ridiculous that we're having to import it from China and Canada when we can grow it right here and our farmers need it. So
what's your website again?
The website is cannabiscommonsense.tour.com, and we're also on Facebook as well.
All right, so our phone calls are backing up here, so let's get back to the phones. Welcome to the show, caller number 1. Hello.
Hi, I guess that would be me.
That is you.
Hi, you guys.
How are you doing?
Hi, Justin.
Did you see how you were described in the Portland Mercury? That's Nikki Gates here. Welcome to the show, Nikki. You've been a guest here several times. Did you see what the Portland Mercury called you? A smoker voice lady.
The smoker voice lady?
Yeah.
What?
That, in case you didn't know it, you'll have to check that out. From
smoker
your
voice
talk
lady.
at the Portland City Council when we were talking about the Hemp Stock Festival.
Oh,
Kind of like
It wasn't
Suzanne
bad.
I
Plachette.
love you guys so much, and I wanted to give a big shout out to the Cannabis Crawl. I love those guys.
All right.
And they are so beneficial to our community and what they do.
Good.
Bringing people out into
Glad to hear
this
that.
world.
I was a little doubtful about it at first, I have to admit.
Yes, I love these guys, and I love what Chris does, and I'm right there with him. I think it's wonderful to get these people out to all.
So the Cannabis Club Crawl is a service for medical patients here in Oregon that goes from dispensary to dispensary every Friday night, and they come through our TV studio here as well in our gathering.
And they hit
so
like four places on Friday.
yeah, I
or
think
more?
so. You get on board and they drive you around, and you get to sample some cannabis in your chauffeur-driven vehicle and visit 4 different dispensaries and the TV show here.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Nikki. Anything else? Oh, I think we lost her. Well, we'll take our next call. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello?
Howdy.
Oh, so you can hear me. Very good.
We can hear you now.
I had a friend who just got back from Colorado. I live in Iowa, and he was vacationing in Colorado. And he said that the prices in Colorado for the high-grade marijuana were pretty much on par with what it is here in Iowa on the black market.
And what is that price?
About $100 for a good quarter.
So a quarter ounce is $100.
400 an ounce.
So that's 400 an ounce. That seems a little high to us. You know, I guess according to those people who track those kind of things, our prices here in Oregon are the lowest. You can go in and buy an ounce of marijuana at local dispensaries for, I think, between $100 and $200.
Wait, no, I'm sorry.
The reason that the price is so high in Colorado right now is because the floods took out a lot of their industrial greenhouses.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So about 80% of their crop was taken out. So anytime the supply goes down and demand goes up, I look for the price of marijuana in Colorado to drop dramatically in the next 3 years.
Will we ever get back to $25 an ounce?
I think so.
I hope so. It's like when we get a true
Also, I have
commodity.
Go right
one
ahead,
other
sir.
question about Colorado, and that is, he said that each facility is only allowed to order so much marijuana for their stock for a certain amount of time, and that might actually lead to a run out or increases in prices simply because legally they're not allowed to buy as much as they need to meet the demand
Yeah.
currently.
I
Is
think
that
that
going
is
to change?
true. In fact, I think a lot of them have to produce their own stock. So they have to plan in advance to be able to do that. I've heard some of them were selling 50 pounds a week or something like that. A great deal. Over $1 million a day in the 30 Denver marijuana stores. That's what we've heard from the news.
That's more than what Willie Nelson smokes.
Yeah. Are you?
Pretty close.
Or my wife.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you. In Iowa, we're continuing to pressure the state Congress to change the scheduling, the Iowa scheduling. And hopefully that goes well. Thanks a lot, guys.
I know
really
a fellow
appreciate
named Carl Olson's been working at that for some time, and I know the Board of he's been trying to get the Board of Pharmacy in Iowa to make that change. Oregon led the way about 4 years ago with rescheduling marijuana to Schedule 2.
And may I just say that Carl Olson has a program on Time for Hemp every Sunday morning.
I knew you were going to say that.
Every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. He's
11 a.m. Pacific time.
Pacific Standard Time. He's on right after Marilyn Mathery and Al Burns.
So you go to iHeartRadio.
And well, you go to timeforhemp.com.
There it is.
And that's all you need to know.
Okay. Well, at hemp.org. You need to know that.
Well, yeah, you need to know that too. And Cannabis Common Sense.
Tour.com.
There you go. That's it. Everything else is just nonsense.
Thanks for your call. Good luck there in the farmlands of Iowa. Let's take another call. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, you guys. I'm back. I'm so
You're
sorry
back.
I got disconnected.
Uh-oh. I hate it when you get disconnected like that.
It's like you never
I
left.
hate that.
Wow.
So what's going on there, Nikki?
Oh, well, I just wanted to tell everybody that I would love to see them on Sunday at the market. We have it from 10 to 7.
10 to 7. And where is that market?
Yep. And it's at 72nd off of Foster, 2 blocks south of Foster.
And what's
An
the address?
Alternative Wellness Center.
What's the address there?
It is 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue.
There you are. And the time again?
It is from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. with 2 raffles.
All right. Well.
All right, and I love you guys very much, and I thank you all for everything you do.
Yeah, it's right
Thank
between
you.
Foster and Harold on 72nd, guys.
Between Foster and Harold. Good to know.
Absolutely, and I love you guys.
All right. We love you too.
Go hemp stock.
All right.
Bye.
Speaking of hemp stock, I had a call from the city today saying they hadn't nailed down the date. They're going to try to open up Waterfront Park, but they would give us a date next week. So we're anxious to.
Why don't we?
They had said they would call by today, so at about 4:30, they called. And
Why don't we have it on the same day as the chief of police has his birthday?
There you have it.
That way he can come down and celebrate with us in a good, high-spirited manner. Yeah.
Good time.
Because, we celebrate the chief of police and his attitude.
Yeah, that's what I say. Okay, so
Warm fuzzies.
we have a little video we're going to run right now about cannabis oil as medicine. So stay tuned, and we're going to run that. We'll be right back.
This 3-year-old little girl battling brain cancer is in San Diego tonight, hoping to heal by using a treatment found in a form of marijuana. She's using hemp oil to treat her illness.
New at 5, 10 News reporter Steve Fiorina joins us with how the girl is doing now with a combination of traditional and alternative treatments. Steve.
Steve, this is Dahlia. She's better than she's been in months. Her mother thanks doctors and nurses for saving her little girl's life with conventional surgery and with chemotherapy. But she drew the line at radiation, and that's where the hemp oil comes into play.
Dahlia Barnhart is a little go-getter, an active 3-year-old who's battling brain cancer, and poster child for an herbal supplement, CBD. Her mom is sold on it.
Her quality of life was deeply diminished, and the CBD seems to me to almost overnight have given that back to her.
Dahlia had gone through months of treatment and was still suffering.
Issues with pain and brain damage, really, from the surgeries and the chemo both.
There's a growing trend made popular by a CNN special called Weed, examining alternative treatments.
We needed to try something else, and at that point in time, marijuana was that natural course of action to try.
Cancer, epilepsy, and other debilitating diseases.
The child who had had 300 seizures a week was now down to just one every 7 days.
Mariah Barnhart tried CBD and was immediately impressed.
The very first night she ever took it, she slept through the night for the first time in her entire life.
Along the lines of medical marijuana, but without the high. So there's not the stigma, no legal issues.
It has the same compounds, CBD, in it, but it does not have the psychoactive effects of THC, which is found in medical marijuana.
Hey there, it's Matthew with Hemp Meds PX. How are you?
CBD is produced here in San Diego at Hemp Meds PX. Big business already after just 2 years. 2,000 customers last year. Here's the lab where the hemp is distilled to various forms of the compound. A 0.5 milliliter daily dose is taken orally.
You generally put it under your tongue and let it absorb that way.
Keep in mind, this is a supplement, not traditional medicine.
It's definitely not a prescription drug. What it is, it's a simple compound that's found from a simple plant. Much like vitamin C is found from oranges, CBD is found from commercial hemp.
We also sought outside opinion and received this from the American Cancer Society. No comment about the specific product or any products that have not undergone rigorous scientific testing. We do caution all patients and caregivers consult with their physician before using any dietary supplement or alternative therapy. Now, Hemp Meds is seeking FDA approval.
Okay, so that is a news story I heard on the radio this morning about a family broken up where sending his wife and child to Colorado so they can legally use high CBD marijuana for Dravet syndrome, just like that lady in that CNN report in that news clip. Right here, speaking of Iowa, here is a picture from Grundy City, Iowa, from December 1943. High school students were excused from class so they could help shock hemp. And they also, this was in 1943, they were growing it for the war effort, and they also allowed Italian prisoners of war to go out and help with the hemp harvest. So hemp was prohibited in the 1937, but then during World War II, the Department of Agriculture started growing it again as a war crop. And so hemp is used for fuel, fiber, and food, and has a long history in the United States. Here is a very interesting poster here of our first president, George Washington, in his hemp field. I've been to Mount Vernon, there in Virginia, another place it called in tonight, and they have numerous hemp fields that Washington cultivated. A lot of hemp history at Mount Vernon, there on the shores of the Potomac River across from Washington, D.C. We got to thank Hemp Man for bringing that in. Then we have a number of hemp items. This hemp pendant, a little hemp bag, another hemp bag. This one's kind of got rainbow hemp on it. That's kind of neat. All of these hemp items are the work of Grizz, also known as Gary Hilburn. He's a hemp weaver and dyes hemp, weaves baskets, hats, purses, lighter covers, bongs, pipes, pouches, and jewelry. And so he's got this lighter cover. Yeah, close in on that thing. It's small.
And say those 10 times fast.
No. it's not that kind of show, Casper. Okay. Then here's a pipe cover. You won't break your glass pipe nearly as much with a hemp cover, so you can smoke your hemp in a pipe wrapped in hemp and still get the benefits of glass as opposed to metal.
You can smoke your hemp and cover your
Then
glass.
here you can put a hemp hat on and have a matching thing to hold your chillum. There's a chillum in there. I'm not going to pull it out, but see, it's that nifty pink color. Isn't that cute? Then we have some other hemp items over here. But let's look at this first. I was going through Whole Foods last night, and there on the shelf was hemp mayonnaise, hemp seed mayonnaise. It contains omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which are good for your heart and your cardiovascular system. It's 18%
Have you tried
cold-pressed hemp seed oil.
Have you tasted
To be
it?
honest, I have not tried it yet. I'll tune in next week, and I'll give you a report. Here is hemp seed oil. This is the main reason, which is what they make their mayonnaise with here. This is the reason marijuana is illegal, because hemp will power any diesel engine with no conversion of the engine, and you can light it up. This is hemp oil burning on a hemp wick. So every week we take another little snip off this hemp. This is next week's wick. And we burn it here, and we call it our hemp flame of freedom. Hemp will replace a large percentage of the petrochemical industry. Instead of driving our cars on on gasoline and petrochemicals, we can use hemp instead. And that's the reason marijuana is illegal. Here's a hemp twine. Casper's holding another hempen pouch. And then put that on, Casper. We got this hemp hat. I know you look so cute. And then hold your hemp purse. Okay, we're going to send you to the Pride Parade like that. You can go down to the Pride Parade coming up. So there you have it. Thank you, Grizz.
That's why the DEA is afraid.
Yeah. We'll
They're
start
gonna
wearing
see
those.
people wearing hats like that. The fashion police will
They're
be out
scared.
of control.
According
Yeah.
to that chief of operations,
Oh
he's
my
scared
God.
of what happens.
Now you know
in
why the
Colorado.
devil wears Prada.
He's scared of us. There you have it.
You go, girl.
We are going to try some more phone calls. We got phone callers standing by, and only about 10 minutes to take them. So welcome to the show, caller number 1.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for
Good
having
evening.
me.
How are you tonight?
Doing well, thank you. I was calling to share a story that you missed in the hip news earlier. Earlier this week in New Jersey, their legislation passed a hemp farming bill. The vote went through the Senate 37-0, and the Assembly was 65-8. Now it's going to Governor Chris Christie's
Has
desk.
he said anything about it? He's such an opponent of anything to do with hemp that I know of.
What was that?
I know Christie definitely opposed medical marijuana's rollout and slowed it down a great deal in New Jersey. How does he feel about industrial hemp cultivation there?
You know, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any news on his thoughts on industrial.
He's been in the news all over the news the past couple of weeks with his bridge scandal.
Yeah, he's pretty good at slowing things down. That's for certain.
Yeah. Hate to be an old
they
gay
are,
like me in
you
a
know,
traffic
in New
jam
Jersey, I know people watch the show online, and they are urging the Vote Hemp people are urging people to call his office and ask him to sign the bill.
Mm-hmm.
And I have his phone number here. If
Go right ahead.
People want to.
For all our New Jersey listeners and viewers out there, or wherever you are in this great world, call Chris Christie.
At 609-292-6000. Ask him to sign the hemp farming bill.
So say that one more time.
Please.
609-292-6000.
Okay.
Why do I know your voice? Who are you?
My name is Anthony. I was down there last week and spoke to you.
Oh, okay. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Anthony. Thanks for calling. Are you back in New Jersey now?
No, I live here in Portland.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. No, I didn't know about that vote, but I'm happy to hear about it. Thanks for calling. Let our viewers know.
Very good.
All right. You have a good evening. Okay, let's take another call. Hello, caller.
This is Dr. Phil Levesque.
Hey, Dr. Levesque.
Hey, Dr. Levesque. Happy New Year.
Hello, Dr. Levesque.
First of all, you're awful hard to get a hold of by a telephone, except when you're on the air. So I would like
You
to
haven't
know if
called
I can
me.
be on your show
Do you
on
have my
birthday
number?
again.
Well, we'll have you back on the show in the next few weeks. I'll call you up. I've got your number.
Okay, that's fine. And
I haven't had any messages from you, though.
Well,
Paul's in campaign mode. Unless you're donating to the cause, he can't take your call.
Well, Dr. Levesque's been a big supporter of our Cannabis Tax Act for a long, long time.
I haven't recuperated from my broken leg yet.
That was a year
I
and a
didn't
half
even know
ago.
you broke a leg. I knew you had your broken hip.
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
That's the same thing.
But yeah, that's true. Well, this guy that spoke at the legislature today, Sabat.
Yeah, Kevin Sabat.
Yes. Well, what I would like to do is talk about that so-and-so if and when I get on.
Okay, well, we'll save some time for you, Doctor.
Okay, fine.
We got a photograph of you on the show tonight. Here, hold that up for him again. Hold that up for him again.
It's not a photograph.
That's not a photograph of him out in the field working there?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's not an Iowa boy. Well, thank you, Doctor. We'll talk to you soon.
I picked the wrong one.
Oh, that might be him.
Very good.
That's how much
Very
I think
good.
of him.
Goodbye now.
Bye-bye.
He's right up there.
Dr.
with George
Lebeck,
Washington in my house.
pioneering medical marijuana doctor, Oregon. We had his 90th birthday. 90th birthday.
What an honor that
on the
was.
show, so we've got to get him back on quick. I didn't know. Okay, we got one more call we're going to take before we fade out here tonight. Welcome to the show, final caller. Oh, well, take
may I
that.
say something?
You may.
I can't believe the DEA is afraid. They're scared of prohibition being turned back. Are you kidding me? You're scared that we're going to get policy that's failed turned back, that we're going to be no longer arresting people? See, that's the key. You're afraid you're going to lose your job. You're afraid we're going to wake up
That's
and
it.
say
They're afraid
you're
of
a bunch
job
of
security.
ninnies for putting these policies in place, and you're afraid that someday you're going to be completely obsolete. That's what you're afraid of, because if you're afraid of anything else, then you're nuts, because we quit arresting people, we save taxpayer dollar, we begin creating jobs, we begin saving the planet, we begin having healthier bodies, and you're afraid of that. Well, if you're afraid, let me put your fears to rest. Tune in to Time for Hemp. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We got 20 great hosts there that will put your fears to rest. That will tell you about how ending prohibition will give us money for the taxpayers, how it will make schools even more prosperous, how we will be creating jobs, 50,000 different products, how we will be regulating marijuana on a medicinal value so that patients can get it without being arrested, and we can also regulate it until the black market disappears. So we'll put your fears to rest, you ninny.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel better now.
We're going to try to take one more call in here who's been standing by. We got the wrong line there. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi there.
Howdy.
Hi there. I was wondering, I wanted to know why. Why do you guys think the ballots in Washington and Colorado passed, but the ones in Oregon didn't, and for what reasons?
Well, the ones in Washington and Colorado had a lot more money than our Oregon initiative did. They in Washington, they spent almost $3.5 million. In Colorado, no, it was $3.5 million in Colorado and $6.8 million in Washington State. Where here in Oregon, we had about $500,000 for the entire campaign, only $70,000 after we made the ballot. So we didn't have the money to get our message out there, and so that was the big problem. We think that with as little as $200,000 more dollars, we could have won. We lost by just about 115,000 votes. So we got 47% of the vote statewide here in Oregon in November 2012. And here in the county that Portland's in, Multnomah County, we got 61% of the vote. And in the city of Portland, we got 63% of the vote. But we only won.
What can we do next time around to make sure it gets passed?
I can tell you, instead of saying things like, oh, I'd love to donate to the cause, but I'm going to spend $50 on a quarter ounce and I'm going to smoke in a half hour's time with my 3 friends tonight at a concert. Donate and get out and get involved, and that'll turn everything around.
It's
right
really
on, brother.
about money.
Thanks.
So there are the 2 petitions that are on that we're working on right now. Initiative 21. We had a question on the cannabis amendment is simply 2 sentences that say that people can possess and grow cannabis and the state can regulate it. And so we don't really set any limit on the number of plants. We had an online question about how many plants the initiative would allow. The revised version of what was Measure 80 the last time around, the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, sets a limit of 24 plants and 24 ounces that any adult can possess and grow, and so that's a great deal more, 25 times more, or 24 times more than they allow under the Washington and Colorado law. And so some people thought that was a little too liberal, but you know, we're trying to start an industry here and restore hemp fuel, fiber, and food, and that's what the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act is about. So we need your help on that petition drive. We urge you to contact us. You can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. You can go to our web portal at hemp.org. That's HEMP.org. Or you can go to our psychedelic web portal at that website on your screen there, crrh.org. If you haven't seen that, back in the 90s, that website won most of the major website design awards.
Yeah, I thought I smoked a really good herb when I went to that site that day. Went,
Yeah.
wow, this was better than I thought it was. Pass that pipe again.
That might happen again. So go, if you want to see our award-winning psychedelic website, point your browser to crrh.org. And you can come into our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. That's 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. And get involved in our petition campaign. Right now, our petitions have more signatures than any other petition campaign in the state except for one. The marriage equality petition, according to the Secretary of State submission log, which is online, has about 34,000 signatures. Our constitutional amendment petition has about 27,000 signatures, and the statutory measure has about 20,000 signatures. So we're well ahead of any other petition campaign in the state. There's only one other petition outside of those three that have turned in signatures this year. So we're well on the way, but we need more financial support to be able to hire more petitioners. So get involved.
Yeah, donate to the cause, guys.
And so give us one more plug for the Cannabis Common Sense Tour, LK.
You heard Justin talk about the cities that we're going to, so if you can host them. We're pre-selling tickets for $420 for general admission, $710 for VIP, and $1130 for front row. So with that said, hey, Justin.
Well, Casper, you want to give your 10-second plug?
I do. The French version of Time for Hemp is going to be doing a special presentation Valentine's Day, 3 hours that morning. They're going to be doing the language of love, talking all about the need to end prohibition and to restore hemp in French. So make it a point to take your holiday of Valentine's and start your love out with Time for Hemp.
Thank you, folks, for watching. Go to our web portal at hemp.org. We're going to go out with another great song from Justin Bridges. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp. Good night.
You can check us out on Thursday. Coming up next Thursday, January 23rd, we'll be at the Pub at the End of the Universe doing a fundraiser for the Cannabis Common Sense Tour.
I know this pretty little girl. She drives all the boys wild. Even better than that, she leaves the ladies with a smile. Now a woman like that, she can please